Hi, this is Jackie at Linus at the Door. Thanks for joining me. I've been thinking so much this last week as I've read your comments and continued to think about self-talk and continuing to practice having clear and positive self-talk. I've been thinking about a little analogy, and that is that when you move into a diet of real food, if you are used to, and maybe you've been raised with a diet of processed food, and you're moving toward more whole, real food, there is a change that takes place, a physiological change in your taste buds, in your endocrine system. You're getting food in its real whole form, the way it was meant to be eaten, and your body has to change to acclimate or to become accustomed to that. So at first, when you're eating a whole food diet, you are anticipating these super sweet, super flavors, all the artificial stuff, because that's what you're used to, and so you're anticipating that, and whole food might taste a little bit less sweet, less flavorful in a way at first, just because that's what you're used to. That's what your taste buds are used to. So after about 30 days of shifting, you're not eating high fructose corn syrup anymore, you're not eating lots of artificial colors and artificial flavors, and your mouth starts to taste real food, and it is wonderful. But it takes some time. It takes some time to acclimate to that. So I wanted to liken that to this self-talk thing we've been talking about. And that is, after you're so used to hearing so much negative stuff in your own head, it takes time for you not only to eliminate that sound and that voice and that feeling, but then it takes time for you to recognize all the positive, wonderful thoughts and feelings that have been there, but you haven't heard them because you've been having this other conversation. So that takes time as well. But when you start hearing the wonderful, just the gratitude and the joy that comes up in you and comes to your mind when you've cleaned out the other stuff, you're no longer putting up with that negative cutting voice, then you become accustomed to this nurturing, coaching, just wonderful. I keep saying that word, but that's really the bottom line. So just like with making the transition from processed foods to whole foods, you really have to work at it. It takes patience, it takes perseverance, and it takes having that vision in your mind. I'm going to be healthier. I'm doing something really good for my body. And it's the same thing with the self-talk. It takes perseverance, it takes time, it takes commitment to continually shutting down the negative, hearing it, catching it, shifting it around, turning it to the positive or to the truth. And then once you get really good at that, and it takes time just even to recognize it, let alone doing anything about it, just to recognize it, just to hear all the subtle, simple, I mean, it doesn't even really sound like anything. It's just a thought that's kind of floating through. But if you just sense that it's negative and you grab it and be so committed to not putting up with it, then it changes everything. The climate in your head changes. And then, just like with eating real food and you see your health improving, same thing. You get the negativity out of your head, you start feeling all this positive coming in, and all the stuff you want to accomplish starts happening because you are no longer shooting yourself in the foot with every thought that comes in. With every, I'm going to shoot down your plans every time. So that stops happening and you get momentum going and you actually start doing the stuff that you want to do, accomplishing those things that you want to accomplish, losing the weight, getting your house in order, becoming more educated, doing whatever it is that you want to do. I promise you that negative self-talk is keeping you from doing those things. It's keeping your relationships shallow. It's keeping them small. It's keeping your world very narrow. And there's so much to do, and there are so many people to meet, and so many friendships to cultivate. And your family's just waiting for you to show up all the way, your whole self. That's my thought for today. I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope you will take the bull by the horns and get over this negative stuff. Get over it. You need to do it. You need to work on it right now so that you can move on to other things. So next week, I'm going to be talking to you about some fun new Lioness programs that are starting in January, because I know you're all thinking, beginning of the year, I'm really going to do this. I'm really going to drop this weight. I'm really going to learn about whole foods. I'm really going to get my head in the game. So new programs coming up. Hope you'll join me next week. Thanks. We'll see you. Bye-bye.